Day, family and friends. Welcome to the Mani-Punz Land Journal. For this particular episode, I wanted to share with you part of my excitement that Fiona and I are planning a cruise to Ensenada, Mexico. And a lot of planning and research is required in it, at least for us, our preference. And I just wanted to share some of the things that I've learned along the way, and particularly some ways we were able to leverage some reward programs to reduce the cost or make things a little bit more comfortable with this. We've never been on a cruise before, so this is quite exciting for us. We've been on ferry rides from Seattle to Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and both times were very enjoyable. We have a video clip of that we'll share with you along this presentation. So with that, so for this particular segment, I'm going to limit it to 4 areas of expenses to be covered: parking, airfare, lodging, and transportation. I won't go too much into this episode as to the room that we chose on the ship, but perhaps, if you're interested, maybe that's something that I can put some content together and show you later on in another episode. But for now, I only do SeaTac Park. We have a membership with them, and they offer quite a bit of rewards and discount prices if you purchase in advance. On several occasions where Fiona and I have traveled, we have used our points towards free parking. We don't like the idea so much as having our family drop us off at the airport because it's quite a bit of a distance. It's about a 50-minute drive from our home. And then plus the times when we travel early in the morning or arrive back late in the evening, can be somewhat of an inconvenience to some. And we just don't like to put people through that. If they offer it, fine. If not, this is our mode of preference. So we use SeaTac Park, and we will be paying for it in advance. I don't have enough points for free parking, but with what we earn on this particular trip, we will definitely use towards another adventure that we come across. So what I typically do is my first point that I like to do is search on google.com/flights, and that gives me a general idea as to the best available prices from point A to point B. In this particular case, it's going to be from Seattle to Los Angeles. Los Angeles, it's because it's closer for us to catch at the Los Angeles Long Beach cruise ship port for the ship. So in this particular case, we see that what popped up was American Airlines, Delta, and Alaska. We have an advantage of having being members of frequent flyer programs with these 3 airlines, but more predominantly with Delta, naturally, because they do fly into Guam in partnership with Korean Airlines. And then Alaska, well known within the state of Washington and Alaska, of course, so they have pretty good rates. But because we mostly use Delta, that's what I'm going to hone in on. Okay, so immediately after I google.com/flights, I go straight to the Delta Airlines, the airlines of our preference. I'd rather go straight to the airlines first to see what they have to offer before trying to find third parties like Expedia or any other online travel agency, and it's because of so many risks involved with third parties, like fees, cancellations, things like that, versus dealing with the airlines directly, and because COVID happened, a lot of airlines directly waived their fees. I'm not too sure how it panned out for others who use third parties to get their airline tickets. But here's the result of my search at Delta Airlines of the departing and arriving flights. As you can see, it mirrors pretty much the basic fare flights of what Google comes out. It comes with the best fare, but basic, I'm not too keen on because we can't pick our seats at the time. You have to wait until the day of the flight before they assign your seats, and you can't also have any carry-ons. You can see the main fares, Comfort Plus, and first class fares, which is pretty reasonable at this time. I first checked it in June and now in July, and the prices have pretty much been stable cost-wise on the airfares. Within Delta, I have checked periodically with Alaska, and Alaska has actually gone up on their prices, so pretty glad that it's working out with Delta Airlines. So the other thing I check outside of the prices are how much mileage is it worth to, instead of paying cash for for each flight. And on this particular one for Delta, it landed at 25,000 miles for round trip for each person, which I thought was, fairly reasonable. So total mileage, if Fina and I went, would be 50,000 miles, the requirement. And I got to tell you that this is a steal because I just recently was awarded 50,000 miles through my American Express Delta. One of the things I found interesting with using mileage, in lieu of cash, is the value of each mile. For Delta, for each mile, if you were to purchase, buy miles from them, the cost is 3.5 cents per mile. Which is pretty expensive when you start to calculate it. For instance, as you can see on the basic fare, it costs 12,000 miles round trip, which is about $420. Economy, 16,000 miles for $560, and Economy Plus or Comfort, 26,000 miles at $910, and then First Class at 50,000 miles equates to 1,750. So this was pretty interesting for me to capture, because if you're earning miles through any rewards program like American Express, because that's who Delta partners with, you're practically earning, on the low end, $1 per mile for every dollar you spend using your American Express card. As you go up the tiers, gold, platinum, and all the other perks, the mileage starts to increase, right? They'll start to pay you 2, 3, 5, 6. It just depends which program, so you're earning miles much more quicker. But again, if you were to purchase it, this is the value of the mileage itself. And I think I should go back up to that, where it shows the prices. Here we go. Of the different classes. So if you were just to take a regular economy, for example, it varied between $177 to $207, and then $247 to $277, and then $447 for first class trips. And it's actually cheaper for you if you have the money to dole out the cash to buy your tickets. But if you have the mileage, I highly recommend using your mileage. Take advantage of that program that they have, because it's a perk. And it's our mileage, and a rewards program that has allowed Fina and I to actually do quite a bit of travel adventures. So we take advantage of all the programs that are available and then weigh it out. So for lodging, it's pretty much like the airlines. We have a rewards membership with various hotels, and we've been using Best Western Plus hotels quite a bit for our adventures, and it's paid off for us because of the points that we earn, the military discounts that they give, and then also a gift certificate for staying with them. We're going to be using some gift certificates that we've earned through some of the Best Western Plus hotels from our previous trips to apply for this, and our overnight stay is going to be less than $100, believe it or not. But it's well worth it. The reason why we're going to overnight is because we want to rest up, and then we want to make sure that we're not rushing, because it's going to be our first time on a cruise. Once we get to the port, I'm going to find out, real quick what's all required, and hopefully that'll be a smoother process than I anticipate. So I did mention earlier that we will be using Uber. We'll need it to get from the airport to the hotel, then from the hotel to the cruise port, and then from the cruise port, once we return, back up to the airport for our return. So nothing difficult about that. So in summary, I talked about our preference for parking, airfare, lodging, and transportation that we will use for this upcoming cruise adventure. SeaTac Park, we have a membership with them. Delta, we're frequent flyers with them. Best Western, we have a rewards program with them. The VIFP Club is part of the Carnival Cruise Club that we just became members of. We haven't had any advantages of it right now, but perhaps on a future trip if we enjoy ourselves. And then we also selected Uber. Typically we use car rentals, either Hertz or Alamo. They serve us best, but in this particular case, we'll be mostly on a ship, so Uber was the winner on this. And then probably one of the biggest ones that helped us on this cost was the American Express. We have a platinum card with Delta Sky Miles, and when we upgraded from gold to platinum, they gave us 50,000 miles as a reward for spending a certain amount of money with them, and that's what's paying for our airfare and first class at that too, because I want to make this a pleasant experience for our first round on a cruise. Yeah, take advantage of these programs if you have them. So guess which part of the ship we're going to get a room? You guessed it, the aft of the ship. One of the most exciting parts through our adventures on taking a couple of ferry trips from Seattle, Washington to Victoria, British Columbia. So excited about it. Until next time, thank you, Sina, for another moon.